What is up, Who Dat Nation? It's Chris Vogel from the Straight Up Saints podcast presented by Brew Crew Media, and we finally have our first major signing for the New Orleans Saints, and it becomes at the expense of a loss for the New York Jets, and they signed Marcus Maye, safety out of Florida, 3-year deal, $28.5 million. I know a lot of people are going to be wondering about Marcus Maye. What type of player are you getting? And more importantly, why was this the deal to be made? Well, I think a lot of it comes down to the market and what the value is dictating. And we talked about Marcus Williams earlier today. So in comes one Marcus at safety, out comes another for the Saints. Marcus Williams is going to make 5 years, $70 million deal. That's $14 million per year. Marcus Maye, on the other hand, 28.5 divided by 3, that gets you to 9.5. I think for the Saints to pay $4.5 million less at that safety spot while still having a former second round pick who was an all-American caliber safety at Florida and who has actually played pretty well with the Jets, I think it's a pretty fair deal in terms of finding a quote-unquote replacement. I don't know if Marcus Maye will be able to play up to the level we've seen from Marcus Williams. They're not exactly the same player. Marcus Maye is not going to be that single high safety that we've seen Marcus Williams, or at least excel the way we've seen Marcus Williams excel. But he is a thumper in the run game. I think that is something that he does actually do a lot better than Marcus Williams. And I think overall, Marcus Maye still gives you that option at safety that you feel comfortable with. He is going to be able to make plays on the ball. He is going to be able to be physical. And I think there is some camaraderie there with the fact that he does have a connection with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They both played at Florida, albeit it was one season, the 2016 season for the Gators. You have that connection there. He gets to go to a coaching staff that has done, I would say, marvelous work with their DBs. We've seen Marcus Williams take that next step. We've seen P.J. Williams take that next step. We've seen Gardner-Johnson play better. We've seen Malcolm Jenkins, even at this late stage in his career, play pretty well. So you take Marcus Maye, a guy who played pretty, I would say, solid, defense overall over the course of his Jets tenure. Now he gets to go to New Orleans, maybe see if he could take his game to another level. Now, there is a caveat here, and I think this is the most important thing to kind of note when we talk about Marcus Maye, and it would just be almost gross negligence on my part not to bring it up. This is a player coming off a torn Achilles. That would be the scare. That being said, the Saints did just start a linebacker coming off a torn Achilles in Quan Alexander. We know Quan Alexander heals better than most people. He played pretty well coming off that injury. Maybe the Saints feel confident. Maybe they feel the medicals check out. They bring him in, and now you have a safety who will be there for the next 3 seasons. And I think this is just a good job of the Saints immediately pivoting off. I think a lot of us, when you lose a Marcus Williams, you wonder, what's the next step? Do they have a plan B, a plan C? And a lot of people, including myself, wondered, is Tyrann Mathieu the plan B? Because there was a lot of smoke surrounding that situation. Well, getting Marcus Maye is pretty damn good. I actually tweeted about him a couple of days ago. It was just kind of a general statement to people on Twitter. I was like, hey, I kind of wonder what his market's like. And when I tweet something like that, part of it is me speculating just because I'm genuinely just curious about what his market would be. But the other part is me saying, hey, if they lose Marcus Williams, Marcus Maye's not a bad, fill-in for that safety spot. Well, thankfully the Saints end up doing that. They fill that safety position, and now that's one less area that you feel you need to fill, whether it's the rest of free agency or it's the rest of the draft. You tick that off. Now you look at quarterback, you look at receiver, still looking at running back, O-line, and I would say defensive tackle. But overall, the Saints worked really quick here to get a replacement for Marcus Williams. I think it's one hell of a replacement. Is it an upgrade? I would say no. I'm always for keeping your own guy, and I do think Marcus is younger, better, more versatile. Marcus Maye's a damn good football player, and I think if he's able to stay healthy, Saints fans will really, really like what he brings to the table. Go look at his 4th season with the New York Jets. Ended up getting the franchise tag after that because he played well, but they didn't want to commit the long-term money. Unfortunately, got hurt after. Should come into New Orleans with a chip on his shoulder, and I'm excited to see what happens. But that's the first big signing for the Saints. Obviously, more work to be done. I know there's a lot of Deshaun Watson rumors going around, a couple of, people linking them to Jarvis Landry. So I would expect more movement in the coming days. It's still early. The start of the new league year isn't until this upcoming Wednesday, and that's when stuff really, really picks up. So here's your first big signing, Saints. Let me know what you guys think about it, fans. I think for the most part, people will be positive to this. This is a really good, example of the Saints moving quick to fill an area of need. But if you guys don't like it, I would love to hear what you have to say about that. And if you do like the Marcus Maye signing, I'd also like to hear what you have to say about the newest member of the New Orleans Saints. But that's going to do it for this quick video. Again, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button for Brew Crew Media's YouTube page. Stay locked in for more content here on Brew Crew Media's page. And of course, stay tuned and stay plugged in with the Straight Up Saints podcast, the destination for the Who Dat Nation.